So this evening we just came over to a couple of dealerships and we're looking at some vans. We're not really going to be buying anything anytime soon, and we're definitely not going to be buying one new, but we wanted to get just a general idea of the size of them. I hadn't really seen a lot of these up close, especially like the Ford Transit here. We got a high top Ford Transit right here, and then a Transit Connect, and we were thinking about maybe looking at an NV200 and heading over to Nissan as well. We tried to go to Mercedes and check that out, but they didn't have any Metrises over there, so I was kind of bummed out. I really wanted to see a Metris up close. It's really something I haven't seen before.
It's still helpful to get to see the differences between the different models, like the Ford Transit Connect versus a larger Ford van.
I have seen an NV200 cargo van up close before, and it's definitely higher than this and seems to have more space behind the passenger seat. So the Connect is definitely out for us, I think, going forward.
I'm pretty sure that this Transit Connect is smaller than the Element.
I'm pretty sure we scared the sales guy away at the Ford dealership. He started walking up to us, and then all of a sudden I turned around again and he was like bolting away as fast as he could. I'm pretty sure he saw the camera, saw that we were both talking to the camera, and probably just didn't think that we were serious buyers, which we're not, so he made the right decision. So we're realizing that most of these dealerships don't actually have commercial vans on their properties. There's a couple of like transportation, passenger vans, things like that, but not really too many commercial vans. So this has kind of been a little bit of a waste of time, but it's been good to see the exterior size of some of these things and to kind of get a little bit of an idea of what we're looking for. It was pretty neat getting the chance to check out the NV200. We ended up going to the Nissan dealership as the last stop of the night and checking that out. I wanted to show one to Antine. She had never seen one up close before, and kind of get an idea of the size that we had in there to potentially work with. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to end up going with the NV200 for the two of us, just because long term I think it is probably a little bit too small to live out of on the road for a year or 2 years or however long it might be that we're doing this. So it's something that, you know, we're thinking about, but and also they're relatively expensive. Like I said, we don't really want to buy something new, so we'd probably have to like finance that, and I really don't want to get into financing a van or anything like that. I'd rather buy something used, cash, and then be able to make our modifications to it and then hit the road. And you know, we might encounter less reliability and things like that, but that's just part of having an older van. It's something that we'll just have to prepare for up front and hope that it works out. I think we're leaning more towards like a Chevy Express 4D350. I know I've mentioned this before in other videos, or potentially even like a Chevy G20 high top like what Brian Adventure Van Man just bought. That's something that we were thinking about a while ago. Even when she was in San Diego visiting me, we had I think we contacted someone even on Craigslist in New Orleans who was selling one of them, and we were like kind of getting a general idea of how much they're going to go for and things like that. So it's definitely something that we're thinking about if we can find one with low miles that's in pretty decent shape. We're still in like the very, very early stages of this process. It's going to be at least 3 or 4 months before we even consider buying anything, but we do have some time now to do some research to try to figure out what the best van is. It's probably going to be Chevy, Dodge, Ford, older cargo van, something along those lines, but I got to figure out what the best year, make, model is and all that. Best engine, best transmission, all those things are going to be things that I'm going to be looking into. We had been wanting to go to the dealerships though for a little while just to get an idea of what's out there on the market now and get an idea for sizes and things like that. We never really intended to buy anything new, but I really wanted to see the Metris. That was a big reason why we went out there last night, and unfortunately it didn't work out. But I saw a couple of videos on YouTube, one that Explorer Steve did a while back about the Mercedes Metris and how it would work out as a potential van life vehicle and things like that, how you could convert it to a camper van pretty easily. So I wanted to see one up close just to get an idea. I would never actually buy one just because they're pretty expensive to work on and so on, and the fact that it's a Mercedes will just make it more expensive in general, upfront and long-term to own. So I would never really consider buying one, but I wanted to get an idea of just what they looked like inside and how they worked out. We're thinking about probably doing the bed setup across instead of the long ways so that we can kind of have more space in the middle for room for...
Look at all this floor space.
So
We do aerobics in here.
so many activities.
Do step class.
It's making my head spin how many activities we can do.
I don't know, for doing things, setting up a desk, things like that, if we want to have more space to cook and things. So that's kind of what we're aiming towards. I was wondering if you could do that kind of setup in a Metris, and we had a tape measure with us, so we wanted to kind of get an idea of how it would work out, and I wanted to share it with you guys just because it does seem like a pretty neat van. Fortunately, it didn't work out, but it's not something we're going to get anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter too much. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll keep y'all posted on how things change and what we're considering going forward. It's gonna be at least 4 or 5 months before we actually pull the trigger and buy a new van. Maybe quite a bit longer than that. It could end up being over a year before we get rid of the Element and switch to something bigger. I'm not really looking forward to that day, but at the same time, it'll be bittersweet, I'm sure. I'll talk to y'all in the next video.